Pidang Sopai Pibaro Shakanika channel join ka tech tutor Meghalaya, Malapanya daka SCST, the Tang Junga Academy Bashi Shakarim, but Menta Kasni, in Betang Yaka chapter 2 ka inverse trigonometric functions, but Menta, Shrabang in Dang exercise 2.2, in Le Shaki A key properties of inverse trigonometric functions. Take A properties of inverse trigonometric functions, ke mostly ke formulas, okay, ke formula. Hakaba means then different types of formula. Te hankan ka video matang in there 5 types of formula. Okay. The kineki properties, these properties are valid within the principal value branches only. But kineki formulas ki bangin le menta kilong valid bit tangha ka principal value range. Te ka principal value range pikama hekaneka table pipel bit na kaneka table. Okay. Kineki range principal value range. Okay. So Menta ngin pet yaka first type of formula. Take a first type kadikam no. First type kini. Pikin mo am sin haka that yang pilang le betang trigonometric functions pila sin x long 1 by cosec x on. Then cosec x equal to 1 by sin x and cos x equal 1 by sec x and then tan x equal 1 by cot x. Okay. Kini ke light formula ke ba pila tip common shwa po pila extreme trigonometric functions de menta ki type 1 ke de kini hi kan ma sin inverse phi la rap kan ma kini kan sok ya phi ba phin kan ma okay sin inverse of 1 by x equal to cosec inverse x. Okay, cos inverse 1 by x is equal to sec inverse x. Sin but sin inverse but cosec inverse sin inverse 1 by x long cosec cos but sec kumbalong hang hi and then tan but cot tira da pikan ma kini ki formula ki barim it's easy we pin kan ma kini ki ba thamai mda. Okay, ki inverse function te sin inverse of 1 by x pinyo cosec inverse x cos inverse 1 by x equal sec inverse x but tan inverse 1 by x pinyo cot inverse x. Kini ki first type of formula. And kini shakkan dong ki bangi ai ki conditions and kan mau makine ki conditions kilong ki they valid ki kilong within the principal value branches. Okay, so x hangni hakane sin inverse 1 by x cosec inverse x greater than equal to 1 or x is less than or equal to minus 1 which is within the principal value range. Similarly hangni haka cos inverse 1 by x equal to sec inverse x is greater than 1 or x is less than or equal to minus 1 and haka tan inverse 1 by x cot inverse x is greater than 0. The pit by kini kilong within the principal value branches only. Okay, so kumna ban kan ma kini pikan ma bit sin badu cosec. Okay, sin is equal to cosec x kan ma and then cos is equal to 1 sin x equal to cosec, cos x equal to 1 by sec x and then tan is equal to 1 by cot x. Okay, so kan ma kini ki formula barin te kini ki inverse mentaru kasuk ki ban kan ma. Okay, kan ma ba kini ki formula kini ki bangi le ba ro kham ta ngi la ban derive. Okay, tamba haka chapter jong phi menta haka syllabus jong phi nginam derive fi ha ban chukan ma. Okay, le te kumna ban kan ma ngin hikaya phi khindiat kat tu kan ni ki tricks ban kan ma te phi la da phi ra ban kan ma kini ki formula kan suk ya phi ban khen jing khen. Okay, so this kani ka type 1 haka ba ngalap ni ki ka tu ka trick ya phi mentan kum ne ban kan ma phi kan ma bet sin badu cosec nama sin long 1 by cosec cos badu sec nama cos long 1 by sec and then tan badu cot nama tan long 1 by cot. Okay, tera phi kan ma ki ne lightly phin kan ma ru ya ki inverse. Okay, sin inverse 1 by x kan ma ka angle hin ka de 1 by x. Okay, sin inverse 1 by x equal cosec inverse x. Okay, cos inverse 1 by x equal sec inverse x and tan inverse 1 by x equal cot inverse x. Kan ma day x ho hang ni 1 by x. Okay, so next type. Okay, katu ke type 1. Next type 1 type 2. Okay, kini ngala jule tang shaki videos ke ba shak madro menta nan shu hikaya phi kumno ba phin kan ma. Okay, the first type ka second type ka type 2 pin the pin menta kini lightly nga tho shijaka kini lightly nga tho shijaka. Okay, pin the pin kini ka second type kini lightly nga tho shijaka kini lightly nga tho shijaka. Why but bale kini banga tho lightly sin inverse x long minus sin inverse x. Tan inverse x long minus tan inverse x. Cosec inverse x long minus cosec inverse x. And kini kilai tali banga thot la ka jong pat cos inverse sec inverse bu cot inverse kilong minus inverse jong tu function or pi minus inverse jong tu function. Why pin the pin ha ka to ka table bagi alia ha ka ba ka dan kani ka restricted range but domain ki ba de kini ki principal values range. Okay. Pin the pin ha kani ka table pat sin ka range ki ba dan ha ki ba ha from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 sin, okay, sin cosec but tan, okay. Pin the pit kini kide from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 hang ni minus no how cosec inverse minus no u 0 how tan inverse kade part from open interval how sin inverse part kade close interval tamba kade bit from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 so pin da kan shukman ngalong e ba ni bo ya sin inverse tan inverse but cosec inverse as family A, as one family because why? Ka range jong ki ka long from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Pinda pe sin ka close interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. How tan ka open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 and how cosec ka close interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 minus 0. So pinda pe ha ka range jong ki ka one from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 is just about how cosec p minus no is 0. How tan inverse part p you the open interval that means minus pi by 2 but pi by 2 are not included. Okay. So kini day family A. Okay. So takadaw ka formula ka properties jong kini kan long komju takadaw. Sin inverse of minus sin inverse of minus x. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Minus sin inverse of minus x when you minus sin inverse x. Tan inverse of minus x when you tan inverse of minus x, but cosec inverse of minus x when you cosec inverse x. Okay. So, takaraw kinilay tali kishu same properties. So kade ki one haju. Okay. And then pindapet yaka yakini ki conditions ki don't fall under the principal values. Okay. X belongs to minus 1 to 1. Close interval, x belongs to r, and then mod of x is greater than or equal to 1. Okay? Okay. Kinilay talipat cos inverse, sec inverse, but cot inverse. Okay, kinilay talipat pindapit hamta. Cos inverse, they from 0 to pi, kini ki they from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Pindape kini light lipat kinde from 0 to pi. Okay. Petra cos inverse. Cos inverse they from 0 to pi. Okay. Cos inverse they from 0 to pi. Sec inverse close interval 0 pi. Sec inverse they close interval 0 to pi minus pi by 2 and then cot inverse but they open interval 0 to pi. They baro ki half under 0 to pi. Okay. So kini ki minta family B. Okay. And pindapit minta kini ki family B. Ka properties jong ki hakini ki formula. Cos inverse of minus x, sec inverse of minus x, cot inverse of minus x, kade pi minus no yo to inverse function. Pi minus cos inverse x. Pi minus sec inverse x. Pi minus cot inverse x. Okay. So cos inverse of minus x. Okay. Cos inverse of minus x kade pi minus cos inverse x. Sec inverse of minus x kade pi minus sec inverse x and cot inverse of minus x kade pi minus cot inverse x. So kan mau bakine ki conditions bangi I harut kini ki David within the principal value range. Okay. Temantang ila adapt iki type 2 in pet saya ki type 3. Okay. Menta ngende ki type 3. Okay. Ki type 3 formula pindapat bahane sin but cosine kum na ban kan mau pikan mau yaki co-function way co-function jong sin cosine way co-function jong tan cotangent way co-function jong sec cosec. Okay, te da fikan mau ki functions ki trigonometric functions but ki co-functions jong ki let up add yaki. Okay, inverse mta now sin inverse x plus cos inverse x. Okay, equal. Next, tan inverse, minta pa ginawan siya ki inverse function mo. Tan inverse x plus way in co function jong tan cotan cot inverse x. Okay, and then was sec inverse x way co function jong sec cosec okay, cosec inverse x. Okay, kan mo kini kita type 3 formula tetapi add ya kini ki inverse function but ki co-inverse function jaki ki inverse function but ki co-inverse function jaki you will always get pi by 2 ko formula kan debit pi by 2. So ki type 3 formula lani ki type 3 formula ki one kumne lada pi add ya ki function but ki co-function inverse jong ki function trigonometric function inverse but ki inverse jong ki co-function jong ki always you will get pi by 2 and kini ki conditions kan ma ba kini ki conditions mga ai siya kanong bar kide ban fall nama ba kini ki formulas ki long valid within the principal value branch. Okay, outside of this range yani outside of this branch kini ki formula kinam long valid lada fi proof pinamla ban proof. Okay, within the principal value branch pila ban derive ya ki. Okay, but then outside of the principal value branch pinamla ban derive ya kini ki formula. So kini ki formula kan ma barabot ki long valid tang within the principal value branches only. Okay, so ban kan mau kini pi kan mau bet lada pi add ya sin inverse but co-inverse function jong pinyo always pi by 2 tan inverse to way co-function jong cot inverse the pinyo pi by 2 and then sec inverse way co-function jong cosec inverse pinyo pi by 2. So ka type 3 it's very easy ka trick ban formula ka trick ban kan mau way for sin way co-function jong sin cosine nane cos. Okay, for tan way co-function jong tan cot. Okay, and then for sec way co-function jong sec cosec. Okay, the haka formula part pi option ki inverse jong ki so sin inverse x plus cos inverse x. Okay, pinya equal pi by 2. Okay, that's how you remember tan inverse x plus cot inverse x equal pi by 2. Very easy. Plus cosec inverse x sec inverse x plus cosec inverse x equal pi by 2. Okay, and then pihaban kan mau kini ki conditions which will fall under the principal value range. So for this first one sin inverse x plus cos inverse x equal to pi by 2 x belongs to minus 1 close interval minus 1 comma 1. Okay, and then tan inverse x plus cot inverse x equal pi by 2 x belongs to r. Okay, and then cosec inverse x plus sec inverse x pi by 2 mod of x is greater than or equal to 1. I hope pila long clear gitu. Kan mau kini ki formula pila ban derive tambah haka syllabus jom pi mata ngim derive pi haban syukan mau kini ki formula so ki trick ngira hikaya pi kumnu ba pin kan mau. So lada pila ban kan mau kini ki formula it'll be easy for you ba pin kan jeng kan tementa ngin poisha ki type 4 menta ngin petcha ki type 4. Okay, the ki type 4 pinda pet menta pinda kan mau tang kini artaliru ka number 3 kalawan na kawan here. Okay, so pinda pet menta tan inverse x plus tan inverse y. Okay, tan inverse x plus tan inverse y pihaban kan mau kade kumna ka formula tan inverse x plus y divided by 1 minus x into y and kan mau x into y kade banong greater than 1. Okay, ka second formula part kade tan inverse x minus tan inverse y ka difference hang ne pinda pet ka formula ka junong kumjo ka difference is just ba pet hang ne halor uni dan plus hang ne menta will change now to minus kan dai tan inverse x minus y tamba siya hang ne dan minus tamba hani dan no plus 1 plus xy. They're very easy ra pya kan mau ko ka second one ka long easy ban kan mau. Okay, and the condition here that xy should be greater than minus 1. Okay, then what happens suppose that our xy long greater than minus 1. Suppose xy hande long minus 1 minus 1 long 0. Okay, the long bit equal to minus 1 minus 1 long 0. So this division by 0 is not defined. Hang ne suppose long bit 1 minus 1 is 0. So division by 0 is not defined. So pinamla ban your ekiniki formulas they will not be valid. Okay, so Kita ki after ki formula ki bah piaban kama very easy. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is tan inverse x plus y divided by 1 minus x into y. Tan inverse x minus tan inverse y. The only difference hane ki sign, so equal tan inverse x minus y. 100 plus, so 100 minus kan mga kata, and then support 100 minus 100 plus 1 plus xy. That's the only difference, okay? And then the third one part la dapat atte pe kini, okay? The third one kadai 2 tan inverse x, okay? Kan mga kan tan inverse x ngin sali show haka type 5 in the here. Okay, teman-teman focus sahane. 2 tan inverse x la dama in terms of tan inverse x hi piaban kan mga dakan neka formula, okay? 2 tan inverse x is the same la dapat tan inverse x plus tan inverse x, okay? So, la dapat apply kate formula kanong tan inverse x plus x 1 minus x into x. Itu kan saya tan inverse x plus x long 2x 1 minus x into x long x square, okay? And the condition kadai ba mod of x should be less than 1, okay? So kita type 4 formula. Now in point shaki type 5 formula. Type 5 kita be shapang tan inverse, okay? 2 tan inverse x. Kita mahane nilai akawai ka formula. Jong 2 tan inverse kane ka formula kadai in term of tan inverse part. Mentala da ni kan ni kwa apan we ka formula jong 2 tan inverse in term of sin inverse and in term of cos inverse we use the kiniki artli ki formula. Take a first one haka type 5 2 tan inverse x ladang kwa ka formula in terms of sin inverse kande sin inverse 2x 1 plus x square pihaban kan ma kane formula mod of x greater than or equal to 1. And the second one part lada pikwa ka formula jong 2 tan inverse x in term of cos inverse x pi use ka ne ka formula, and then ka formula kadai 2 tan inverse x equal to cos inverse x 1 minus x square divided by 1 plus x square, and then ka condition kadai banong x greater than or equal to 0. Then tang all the 5 types, okay? All the 5 types of formula, and yakini formula ngin sapanan kan menta hakaban kan haki next videos, okay? Teman-teman ina position bakut jong kanika videos haka bang ila yaki properties of inverse trigonometric functions, and ngila 5 types, okay? Ngila 5 types of these formula. Kadang ka type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 and type 5, and kan ma barabor ba kini ki formula kilong valid matpila ban derive yaki tang within the principal value branches. Kan ma barabor kata outside of the principal value branches kini ki formula kimlong valid te. Kini ki formula baro khat banglale amata from type 1 to type 5 kilong valid tang within tang hapo ka principal value range. Te mentang ina push ko bukut jong kanika video. Lada pidan doubt say laban a comment section. Nila ban batay biang ki haka next pak haka way pak ka video. Tengi ngin saya syampat bapi haka next video. Kublai syubut.